What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Bench Burner Sports, and we're doing an edition of Stoking the Coals for UFC 312. I am Knuckles, and I'm joined here by Squared, and we are pumped to talk about the aftermath of 312. Pretty decent card, I think, overall after the fact. Not great, but decent. I think better than what everybody thought it was going to be. But excited to talk about it. How you doing, Squared?
I'm doing good. You know, I I saw a lot of people trashing this card after the fact, and I gotta think that a lot of people just had those tweets like in their drafts because they were
Oh yeah,
expecting it to suck. And it wasn't the best card by any means, but it really wasn't bad. And there were some throughout the card. Obviously, the pay per view probably was, if you dissect it, was probably not the best chunk, but
Mhm.
especially in those early prelims and the prelims, there were some pretty awesome moments. And then, of course, the pay per view had some interesting moments, some fun moments, whatnot. Um, gave us stuff to talk about on this episode for sure, and that's what we're gonna do. Don't forget, y'all, to follow us on X/Twitter at bench_burner. Instagram and TikTok are going to be Bench Burner Sports, one word. Pretty sure if you type in the three words, you're still going to find us there. And then Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, all those things, three words, Bench Burner Sports.
Right on, right on. So we're gonna start this card off by talk or this episode off by talking about the starting at the top like we have been doing. We're gonna talk about the championship fight, the first or the second championship fight between Dricus du Plessis and Sean Strickland. And man, what can I say? Sean, here's my takeaways. Dricus looked better technically than I think I've seen him in his whole career. He was way less like doing the weird shit, throwing his head around, doing just crazy, just throwing shit. He was like very decently technically sound outside of charging forward like a madman sometimes, but way better. Like I think he's really coming into his own. Saw that in this fight, was very conserved, yet found the moments to throw the shots and affect Sean. Meanwhile, Sean just looked like he couldn't get off the bus, like he looked like he was stuck in quicksand and couldn't move. He had a hard time pressing forward at any point in time. Way less output, which is considerably unusual for Sean. And I don't know if it was because he was nervous about what Dricus was throwing back. I also think that the same side kick. I can't think of what the fuck. It's a roundhouse, but it's from the forward foot. I can't think of what that kick would be called. But Dricus kept throwing the left high kick off of his back foot, almost like a switch kick, but I wouldn't call it a switch kick, off of his back or from his lead leg. And I think that was causing a lot of disruption for Sean. And I don't know if that's the main reason, but Sean just looked stagnant. And Dricus looked phenomenal. Probably one of the best performances I've seen him put on, because he thoroughly controlled the whole fight. Cracked Sean really fucking bad in that fourth round with that straight or hook or whatever it was that landed on the nose and broke his nose. And I mean, I don't, there was just never a doubt after that, like who was going to win the fight. And I know a lot of people didn't like the fight that much for their own personal reasons. Obviously, it's not like a barn burner fight to watch, but I was very impressed with Dricus's development in the fight, and so I enjoyed the fight quite a bit. What do you take? What are your takeaways on that, Squared?
So I kind of, in ways, it went as I expected. That I thought that Dricus was going to be the most improved fighter since that first fight. I did pick him to win. I did think it was going to be a closer fight, though, and I thought that as the later rounds caught on, that we would start to see more from Sean. That was not the case. Sean got his nose busted in, just became a bloody massacre in those later rounds. Um, it's Yeah, I agree with you that Dricus looked the best he's ever looked in a weird way, despite it not being a finish, but we know, his technique looked a lot better. And I also think that Sean's kind of reservation almost was, I think he had staph. He definitely had staph. You're not telling me that wasn't a staph infection. I
Oh
know
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
was that. Now, that's not to take anything away from DDP. That was going to happen regardless. Maybe Sean would have been a little bit better, but what happened Saturday night was going to happen. DDP, in a weird way, almost Sean Strickland. The way that Sean Strickland doesn't allow people to get their momentum going and build up their strategy, that's what he did to Sean. His kicks, whether it be to the body, the head, those head ones were scary. He landed a couple of them and got real close with a couple others. I think it kept Sean in this weird state to where he couldn't really get going. And man, credit to DDP. That was a good performance, and it made me more confident in him because I've always said that he's got like plot armor, and like I wouldn't ever pick against him because he's just always going to find a way to win. But now it's like, oh, I can see where he can actually like, he can actually like win fights.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I'm trying to say? Like,
yeah.
actually make it happen himself. He's not having like the glory,
Plot
the
armor.
power of God just like
Right.
coming into that octagon and saving him almost. Which is, yeah, that's jokes. Obviously, fighters,
Right.
they earn their W's, typically earn their W's. But yeah, he looks like he's getting better and better every time we see him, and it's going to make that Hamzat fight really interesting. That's going to be a very exciting fight. And even other fights like him versus Imavov or
Oh
Kyle
yeah.
down the line, if he defends against Hamzat, which I'm not saying either way, but that's a tough task. We're not going to get ahead of that. But if he does, or even if he loses and he fights like Kaio next or something like that, I don't know how
Right.
things are going to play out. But those will be really interesting fights to see.
I was gonna say, man, that division, everybody always shits on middleweight. I know a lot of like the pessimists on Twitter because Twitter is either full of a bunch of trolls or pessimists. One of the two is people that think that they know everything about the sport and they shit on everybody. You know who I'm talking about? Those type of people. They're all like, saying middleweight shit, middleweight's this and that. You got to think about it. From like 1 to 10, it's extremely stacked. You've got Anthony Hernandez,
It's
Fluffy,
grown a
who's like,
lot over the last couple years, the last year or two, really, and like Pereira coming in, and I hate to sound like I'm shitting on Izzy, but his downfall has really saved the division because it's
yeah,
not those. I'm gonna say
him and Rob.
those boring title fights. Like those are a thing of the past. I know people are gonna say the last one was boring, but we never saw. Well, we wouldn't see Izzy butcher people the way that we just saw Sean get butchered.
No, that fight was way more exciting than like five of Izzy's title,
Yeah,
four or
yeah,
five of Izzy's title defenses.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
basically after Izzy beat up Costa, after that it was just
Yeah, we're starting to see a new age of the middleweight division, undoubtedly, and I think it's a
mm,
lot better than the one that we've had from like 2019 till recently.
honestly low key. It's better than like, well, I forgot you had Yoel and Rob. Those two fights were
Those, yeah,
fucking insane. But outside of that, sorry, outside of that, even Anderson's run, a lot of it outside of like the Weidman and the Sonnen fights were all ass. So like this is nice. This is nice to see, breath of fresh air. Obviously DDP, what's next for him is Hamzat, but what do you think's next for Sean? I think with that nose, he probably won't come back till like July. I was thinking probably, and I was thinking like Rob. I was personally thinking Rob would be a good.
yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, him versus Rob seems like the right one. Both guys kind of in weird spots. Rob being like his career is definitely kind of almost closed. Um,
Yeah,
no real chance of getting back in the top. Well, I mean, definitely not for any time soon. And by that time, he's going to be old as hell. And then Sean, uh, he's out of the title picture because the guy that's got the title has beat him twice, but he's still like lingering at the top. So
oh
that
yeah.
makes sense.
And I mean, you got to remember what he did to like Imavov's looked like a murderer since Sean's beaten him, but Sean did what Sean did to him, so it always I feel like puts him in that conversation because if Hamzat beats DDP, there's also the Sean versus Hamzat rivalry kind of thing, going
Yeah.
on. So, but yeah, I think that's good. Next fight up on the docket that we're going to talk about is the championship fight between Zhang Weili and Tatiana Suarez. And Weili's like, dude, she's good, man. She's good, dude. It's not even. I don't know if there's a person who can hold a candle to her at 115 right now. Like her and Virna would be an interesting matchup only because I feel like Virna has more tools than Tatiana does. But at the same time, I think her best asset is her grappling. But I think Tatiana's better at grappling, and we saw what Weili did with Tatiana's grappling. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Virna, mind you, has a far superior gas tank. So could get hairy later in the fight, but Zhang just Weili's just too good, man. Like I don't even know what to say. That the best thing I can say is that I think you need more than 10 fights before you go into a title fight. I'm gonna say that, and 10 fights against her best win is what Alexa Grasso or Jessica Andrade. Um, and we saw that the Andrade fight, we were at that fight, and that was a year and a half ago. Grasso was like probably 4 years at this point, probably, and she hasn't fought. She's fought twice in like 4 or 5 years or something something fucking crazy. So
Right.
it's I like Tatiana's story. I like what she represents, everything else like that. But when you're going against the best women's fighter alive today, you gotta be a little bit more prepared. It looks like she didn't train anything outside of just grappling.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. Besides, like, it's not so much how bad Tatiana looked; it's just how fucking good Weili is and how she makes her opponents look. Because you got to remember, Yan Jianan is also a phenomenal fighter, and we saw what Weili did to her. I mean, made her look bush league. So, um, yeah, man, super impressed with Weili. Super excited to see what's next. I hope she's a little more active this year because she only had one fight last year. But we're starting off in February, so could be a good sign that we might get a couple more fights out of her, at least one, I hope. And for Tatiana, she's older, so it's going to be hard to try to capture a title at this point in her career. But I think if she rattles off like a couple of wins and maybe Weili retires or moves up permanently and doesn't come back down to strawweight, we could see Tatiana win a title. But she has to shore up the striking and shore up that gas tank because both of those were fucking abysmal. They were not good. Um, it's like regional level striking and regional level preparation for that fight. Anyway, that's my takeaway from it. I was just a little disappointed in Suarez. Thought we'd see a little bit more. I did thought it'd be a little bit closer than what it was, but then I do remember in the preview show I was like, no, Whaley's the best, and I was right, I guess. So, but anyway, what's your takeaways on that, man?
Yeah. So for the preview show, I said 5 rounds to 5 rounds to Wei Lee. I think they gave the first round to
One
Tatiana.
judge, one. No, yeah, no, all of them did. All of them did. Yeah,
Okay, I was about to say, man, they should have all like she didn't do
yeah.
a whole lot, but she like smothered her for most of the first
I
round.
think I think one judge gave it to Zhang just because the damage she pulled off or some shit. But
Yeah, at
yeah,
the end, kind of turned it around a little bit, but yeah, it kind of went exactly as I expected, just because Tatiana super inactive. I remember saying to Max, like as the fight was starting, I was like, "Is this her first 5 rounder?" I don't know if it was. I knew for a fact. I was like, she's never been 5 rounds. She's typically in 3 rounders. Is pretty good at getting it out in two. I think I looked and it was like consistently like second round submissions. Um, so I was like, man, that's not going to help her out because if she's not getting Whaley out early, it's going to be brutal. And that's exactly what it was. She blew her load in the first round. And then from then on, Whaley was just on her ass. She was shooting takedowns. Whaley was cutting that shit out immediately. She was not having it. Whaley is the best female fighter right now. Not a whole lot to say, dude. She looked good out there, and it showed, and it the lack of experience, the lack of activity. and the lack of and I love Tatiana, so I hate saying this, but the lack of like skill really showed. Um, and she's got a lot of skill where she has skill, but where she doesn't have skill, that's it's gonna bite you in the ass a little bit. And yeah, as far as what's next for Wei Lee, I know Dana hinted at maybe a champ shot. That would be cool to see. Obviously, Verna's there, but outside of Verna, there's nothing left for her. So one of those two fights, I kind of like to see her just do the champ one, just because she is like 35. I'm sure she'll be 36 before too long. That's kind of how time works. So, so might as well just go for that. Sorry, Verna, you're gonna have to either get another one in or just wait a little bit. Yeah, champ for her next. For Tatiana, I don't even know. Just give her somebody. Maybe even like kind of push her a little bit. Maybe give her another like a main event, a 5-rounder. I know that's not going to be what anyone wants to hear, but that might be what she needs to kind of build her up. Or if she crumbles, then she crumbles, and we get a little better understanding. I kind of thought that she was going to retire afterwards, considering she's definitely not getting like a rematch off of that. No. And then the injury prone, just how her career has played out is like, is she really going to go through this again? If she does, all power to her. I'll be there supporting her. But if she hung it up right after that, I definitely would have understood that as well.
So Verna's fighting Macy Barber. Is that the next fight that Verna's fighting? Who's Verna fighting? I'm gonna look that up myself. Jiroba.
I didn't even know she was booked, to be honest.
I think she is. Yeah, but yeah, I think she is. Hold on. Maybe. Might be wrong.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's fighting Yan Jianan.
Oh, okay.
314. Knew that. I knew that.
Where the fuck is Macy Barber at? Is she injured?
I don't think so.
She's a 15er, right?
Yeah. Was her last fight? No.
I'm looking it up right now. Macy Barber is.
Oh, she was. That's right.
No,
she's scheduled to face
20. She's a 25er. I was wrong.
No.
Pretty sure.
Those women divisions can get a little blurred. 115.
Well, flyweight and strawweight are the two I mixed up. Like obviously, weights.
Yeah, it sticks out a little bit more. But
so is Dern a 15er? Is that right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Have Tatiana fight Dern if that's. I'm pretty sure. That's what I'd like to see. Yeah, she's 5'4", so she's got to be a 15er. Hold on. I mean, that's not set in stone, but yeah, she's a 15er, and she beat Hebus. So have that. There you go. You want to see a damn good grappling matchup, with a lot of good views potentially. have her fight Mackenzie Dern. I think that would be, because neither one of them have very good striking. I actually think Mackenzie's striking is probably better than Tatiana's, and that's saying something.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tatiana versus Mackenzie. That's the fight I would like next. And I think it'd be really good for Mackenzie too to see where she's at, because if she beats Tatiana, hell, she might actually finally get that title shot that everybody's been talking about for years now. And for Zhang Weili Zhang, have her fight Valentina Manafero Fiorot. I can't ever remember how to say her name, but have Manon fight. I don't know. Just have Manon fight anybody. Have Manon fight a fucking 35er, because that's what she should be. She's gigantic.
Have her fight a 35-pound or a 35er male, because I think that's what she might be as well.
Yeah, dude, holy shit! I see her and I'm like, that. There's no way that's not a dude, bro. No. Have her. I don't know. Just have her fight a fun fight. What happened to fun fights? Or have her sit out. Shit, she's not young. Just have her sit, conserve her energy. But the fight you got to do is Val versus Wei Lee, because I don't think that Val is probably gonna beat Manon. I think my prediction for champion at the end of the year at 125 was Manon, I believe.
Yeah, it's
Um,
mine. Cool.
and I think she's going to be too big for Wei Li, so I want to see Wei Li get that shot, win that title, and if she can beat a huge ass bitch like fucking Manon, uh, then that's even more impressive. But yeah, that's what I'd like to see is that, and hell of a fight. I think it would be between her and Val, even with Val being older. The
Yeah.
matchup would just be fun. But anyway, trying to keep this
How
going.
crazy is it that, and by the way, thank you,
Yeah.
Dre. I'm not going to say maybe I shouldn't say the site's name, but shout out to the plus odds on Wei Lee. That helped me out Saturday night.
Oh, there you go.
That
Oh,
was,
dude, I'm telling you,
I
the
saw that and I
line
was like, that's insane. I don't even bet money like that. And I was like, how could I not? How could I
the
not do
lines. I feel like a lot of the lines on Saturday were kind of like on certain stuff were like really funky. Like that one, the plus wasn't it almost like 200 out on.
what was she like plus? It wasn't too high. It was like plus 130 something, but I took it. Plus is plus.
The Cody Steele line was obviously wrong, but we'll get into that. We'll probably talk about that one for. Okay, these next ones, the two, oh shit, my internet connection's unstable.
You froze for half a second, but you're good now.
Okay, well I'm gonna turn off this video I got playing in the background. That way it doesn't. Um. Anyway, so these next ones, we're probably gonna rapid fire a lot of these next ones just because got a
Yeah.
lot to talk about. Probably laugh, probably make a few jokes about a few of these because they're pretty good. So the next one up is Justin Taffa versus Talison Teixeira. Me and you both picked Taffa just because we were riding the wave, and then Talison Teixeira just said, "Got your nose." And just, I didn't know
Turn
what
me
happened first, and then I didn't know what happened at first, and he got pissed. He stood up and he was getting mad, and then I saw his nose, and I was like, "Oh!" I was like,
also, like,
"That's
how are you gonna get mad, dude? You literally went into the
turtle."
fetal
Yeah, anytime you
position. Like,
when
what's
you
he?
get when you get hit and you turtle, they're not gonna fucking be like, unless it's Kerry Hatley whenever Bobby Green was on the ground getting his fucking brains bashed in. Like if it was Kerry Hatley probably been like, kill him now, kill him. Like, but no, but
Do it.
no, fucking Emperor, do it. Uh, but Taliesin, man, I think really exciting. He's like 25, maybe. Really exciting prospect at heavyweight to watch. I think I know that Tov is not like the best fighter in the world, but to do that to somebody who's had several UFC fights that quickly, and the fact that all of your wins are in the first round, I'm excited. Excited, he could just be another glass cannon, and he might get cracked in his next fight. But fuck, put him up against at this point, throw him a ranked fighter, throw him
Yeah.
up against maybe not Shamil or somebody, but throw him up against a pretty talented heavyweight. Um, talented, I'm using that term loosely, but like put him up against somebody ranked. I don't know, Waldo Cortez Acosta or well, I don't think DeLima is ranked anymore, but DeLima would be another good one. Just somebody fun, even fucking Derek Lewis at this point, because who knows what Derek Lewis is doing.
Yeah.
Anyway, but do that. Um, really excited to see where he's going. Tafa about that time. But
Yeah.
anyway, what do you think about this
Yeah,
fight square?
I'm in full agreement with you. I don't really have much to say about the fight. He went out there and he shut that crowd up really quick. I remember telling Max, I was like, I've never heard a crowd go so quiet after a finish, much less a first round knockout. That was pretty funny.
Alien said the crowd just died
Yeah, yeah.
immediately. He's like,
And if you go back, you can hear like kind of the initial like shock and like but then it's just like like the whole crowd is like oh
"Damn it, our guy!"
yeah yeah the dude's something new for the heavyweight division, so that's gladly appreciated until he becomes just another blob. He's a funny looking dude. He reminds me of the thumb guys from Spy Kids. It's
The
kind of
thumb thumbs, yeah.
a tatted thumb dude. Luke
That
is a bad man. Help us, save us.
and his That chest tattoo too, man. That
Oh,
was
yeah. It's so shitty. Oh man. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that
okay.
one. Nothing.
Next one up is Jimmy Crute versus Rodolfo Bellato.
Jimmy
I don't have
Cheeks.
much. I don't have much to say outside of like Crute looked like one of the best 205ers in the world for the first round, and then he was just like, "I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm done now." And
I almost took back my Jimmy Cheeks comment. I was like,
right,
whoa.
I was like, and I just don't. That division is in need of some new life. I was like, Jimmy's 28 still. Maybe he's just needed a little bit of a break. No, man, he just still. I don't know. I don't know. Best thing I can say is not really anything. Um, him celebrating a draw was funny as shit,
That was great. Yeah.
but he goes, and these
Oh,
are the
like, dude, were you not listening? Like,
yeah. He heard 28, 28, and he's like, yeah. But yeah, fuck it. I don't really have much. Like, I don't even have matchups for those two guys because I could care less. Maybe I don't know. Make one of them fight fucking Ryan Span or something. There you go. Fun. And that's about it on that. Neither one of those guys are even like top 15, and that's bad to say about light heavyweight. But I don't think either one of those dudes is top 15. You have anything to say about it, man?
not a whole lot. It was what it was. I don't know how a fighter can have. Think of how rare it is to get a draw and then to have two of them in like your last like three fights.
Yeah.
Um, you got to be cursed or something. At this point, I feel like both those guys. Not saying I want this for them. I don't really. I know I called him Jimmy Cheeks. I don't really have any ill will towards either of them. I called him Jimmy Cheeks because I was pissed off that this was a fight on a pay per view event. But both these guys are probably just going to get fed to somebody, whoever that may be. That's just kind of your fate. Those are the positions. Maybe not so much Rodolfo. He kind of had something going before this fight. But Crute, if he does come back, I know last time around he was teetering on retirement, but if he comes back again, he's probably not going to be in a favorable position. So maybe just do retire. I hate saying that. I hate telling someone to end their career, but that might be the best for Adolfo or whatever his name is, Bellator.
Yeah. Bellator. Yeah. Yeah.
uh, yeah, dude, just I don't know, whatever, whatever, dude.
Some guy, some dude. Have him fight Anthony Smith or something. There you go. Next up on the card was Prado and Jake Matthews. Um, Good little scrap. Matthews just showed that he can still consistently be inconsistent, so he'll win some, lose some, and this one he looked pretty damn good in. Prado just looked to be really pretty undersized. I felt like somebody tweeted out might have been like Jedi Goodman or one of those guys on Twitter or X put a post out and said that Prado is a classic tweener, too big for 55 but too small for 70, kind of like a Kevin Lee type. Um, and I think he's also like 23, 22. So it's like he's kind of where Jake Matthews was,
Yeah.
fighting guys with a lot more skill than him at such a young age. I think he's got a lot to learn from this and he'll grow from this. And Matthews, I think he's just going to continue to stay in that kind of in between range. I think Neil Magny called him out for a scrap. Wouldn't be mad at that. Matthews might be able to crack the top 15 at some point. I don't know. That's a fucking tall task with such a good division. But he is good when he's good. But he's pretty fucking bad when he's bad. So yeah, Neil Magny, see where that's at. Good fight. I'd take it. Prado, I know he's big, but he might want to go back down to 55. That's pretty much how I would say. But you got any takeaways from that fight, man?
Not a whole lot. Matthews looked good. Kind of as you were saying, he's just kind of like a lingerer, and he's kind of referenced that. He's like, I'm always just kind of like right outside the top 15. As soon as he's about to break through, he just runs into a wall. not much taken away from the fight because it's nothing we haven't seen before from him. As good as he looked, it was it's like okay, and then what's going to happen? You're going to go out in your next fight and not look so good. Um, Neil Magny was a good call out. It's the right call out. It makes sense. It's the good next step for him. But also to hear those words come out of his mouth, to hear someone calling out Neil Magny on the mic in the big 2025 was just like kind of made my stomach churn a little bit. I was like, oh, damn, gross. Like, come on. Have
He's
some,
not even
have some
ranked anymore.
pride. You're standing in front of your nation right now. Have a little pride. But like I said, it's the right next step for him. Prado, you do you, bud.
Yeah,
Whatever comes your way. That's the thing about this card is it's like filled with guys where it's like I don't really just fucking fight whoever the UFC gives you. I don't give a shit. You're not. This isn't like weighing on the welterweight division right now.
right.
Who Prado and who Matthews are going to fight next? But yeah, that's all I got to say about that one.
All right. Moving on. We're gonna rapid fire these prelims pretty quick. Quick takeaways on this. Outside of like maybe a couple talking points. Jack Jenkins versus Gabriel Santos. The only thing I have to say about that is Jack Jenkins gets the Samson Award, like I said on that post. Don't cut your fucking hair if you got to go get a haircut. If you're an MMA fighter and you got a cool haircut, do not cut your hair. That'd be like if Sal Killed comes out in his next fight and his mustache is gone. Why? Why would you do that? So Jack Jenkins, same thing. Grow the hair back out. You might be able to win a fight. I don't know. Also, I just think that he was kind of outmatched against Santos in that one. Do you have any takeaways from that one?
No, just a little disappointed in Jenkins. I
Yeah.
like Jenkins, so that was a little disappointing to see for sure.
Next fight up is Big Tom Nolan versus Slava Claus. Can't think of his first name, but Borshov. I picked Borshov in that fight. I just thought he was going to be a little bit too talented on the feet, but Nolan is just so much bigger. Showed a little bit of grit and determination to try to get takedowns and just kind of control the fight. I'm a little higher on him than I was before. Obviously, I shit on him pretty
I
bad.
was about to say you were
Um,
sitting on him.
I just don't think. I just man, I they tout him as like this next big prospect at 55. He also is fucking huge for 55, so that's like he's got that going for him. Um, he needs to probably still slow roll. Don't go too fast. He's still fairly young. But I'd like to see him get a little stiff competition next, but nothing too crazy. So, you know, it was fun to see him fight Slava Claus. Maybe give him somebody like I don't know, the guy that Slava Claus fought Nazim Sadikov would be fun. Something like that. I don't know, just a random fight. I mean, even like Guram. Guram's probably too high for him, but like could be fun. Give him the loser of Rebovich and Zellhuber, or you know, who's the guy that Ignacio Bahamondes just knocked out at Noche? Uh, God, I can't. That guy would be fun. Any of those. I'm just thinking of a bunch of random 55ers. Those guys in that range, like 25 to like 40 in that range. Put them up against somebody in that rank scale. Slava Claus, you do you, bro. That's all I gotta say. I love you, but you got any takeaways from that one, man?
Not really. Tom Nolan looked pretty good. I was pleased with it. Looks like a growing athlete. What's next for him? I don't know, but I look forward to it.
Yeah. Okay. Wang Tong versus Bruno Brazil. I'm not gonna lie, I actually missed a good portion of that fight. I just know that every tweet I saw was people saying, "Can we just get on to the next fight now?" So that just tells me everything I need to know about that fight. It went to decision, right?
Yeah, yeah.
From what everything I was seeing, Wang should have finished the fight. Like, well, that going into the fight, everybody's like, "Oh, Wang should kill this chick." So, I don't know. Shout out Bruno's Brazil for being on the Fighting Nerds, though. So, like her, she's cool. But I don't have much to say about that. I think Wang Tong's dream of fighting Valentina Shevchenko one day in a MMA fight, I don't think that's ever fucking happened. But you got any takeaways on that one? But
Not much. Just a little lackluster. I think that maybe Wang was not too pleased with their last performance. Maybe a little gun shy. I wouldn't say gun shy, but I don't
right.
know. She wasn't trying to get too fancy with it because she got a little too fancy in her last fight and that really bit her in the ass. So yeah, just not the most impressive performance, but she went out and did what she did. So not gonna shit on her for it.
Right, right. Okay, next up after that one, Thickness versus Taporia. Don't have a lot to say. Taporia looks like a almost identical match to his fucking brother with this fighting style. Just
Yeah,
that tight, yeah, that
yeah.
tight, like it's tight and it's. I don't know how it's so fucking good because they're
Like
tight.
hunched over, like
Yeah,
crawling up on their opponent.
like you think they should be able to get hit, but I think it's the shell that they keep is why they're so good because he can duck down like this. I
Yeah.
do see a lot of my only takeaways because I was probably one of the fights I watched the most because I wanted to see how good this guy is. I think Taporia is not going to be as good as his brother is, but I think he has potential to crack the top 15. He's pretty solid. Um, he has a lot of bad tendencies that he needs to work on. He dips his head a lot. You're just asking for somebody to fucking throw a kick and just nail you. Like I noticed that a lot. He would dip, but not keep his hand up while he's dipping. He would dip, and his right side of his head would be exposed. I don't know how they didn't see that. I saw that like 10 times. Um, uh, Thickness. He was okay. I liked his movement. He was very active on his feet. Outside of that, that's pretty much my only takeaways. Taporia is very good, a lot better than what I thought he would be. And Thickness, I don't think he's UFC level ready yet, or UFC ready yet. I think he needs to go back down, fight a few more fights, and somewhere where one of their promotions they have over there, or even come over here to like LFA or something and get some like real competition in and see where you're at. So yeah, excited to see where they both go from here. Um, I couldn't even tell you if Taporia is UFC ready yet because he fought a guy that's not UFC ready. So, but I liked it. It was a decent fight. That's my takeaway. You got anything on that one?
Not really. I agree with you. I think that Taporia, little big brother Taporia, he's going to see some success. He's also going to see some L's. He's definitely not the uh, invincible. Well, I mean, even Ilya is not very invincible. I think we've seen him kind of take a couple hits or a couple missteps, but dude's undefeated. So he's not going to be that. He's not going to be champion probably, but he's going to be good. It's hard not to be when that's your brother and that's who's like like in your corner and you're training with them every day. Like you got to at least pick a little something up. Um, but he's in a stout division, and I don't think he's going to be messing around at the top very much. Might break the top 15, as you said. Thickness, I will say, I saw a lot of potential in him. Obviously, wasn't able to go out and execute, but it seemed like in some parts he did have a pretty good strategy. He was working. He was definitely had a lot more output than Taporia. But it's just when Taporia made moves, they were big moves. Whether it was I think the first round he popped him so hard that he went like flying against the cage. Then he had the suplex. He just he was explosive. Whereas Thickness was just kind of playing like the lengthy picking them apart game, but he just couldn't because it was a bad stylistic matchup pretty much. But I
Oh yeah.
but that being said, I still saw a lot of potential in the guy. I don't know. Like you said, probably not UFC ready, but in time, I think he'll be a pretty good fighter.
Oh yeah. I agree. I think he will be. I think he'll come. I mean, obviously they're going to keep him around in the UFC, but don't be surprised to see him maybe lose a couple and get cut. Unless they slow roll him.
How old is he? He's a pretty young guy, right?
He's they're both like I know Taporia is like what 26, 27 at least. Let me see Thickness. Colby, right? Colby Thickness.
25. So yeah, he's got some
Oh
time.
yeah.
He's got time to grow.
I like his nickname Slickness Thickness. That's pretty good. Um I do have a matchup I would like to see. Um I think Simon's booked, but I would like to see Topuria fight Simon next, just to kind of gauge where he's at. Because I think Simon can beat him with Simon's style, but um, very interested in that matchup because I think I've always said this about Ilya, and I'll say it about this one too. I think that their weakness people are going to find is rangy kickboxers that can kick very well. I think that'll be so. That's why I kind of want to see Simon fight him, see where that's at, or fuck
Yeah.
even. I wouldn't mind Peyton Talbot. I think it's too much of a step up for Taporia, but I wouldn't mind it. Uh, anyway, next fight up, Rongju versus Cody Steele. What a fucking fight! All I'll say is that Steele's got that dog in him, but Rongju controlled the fight. Just shut down anything that Steele had going. Steele couldn't grapple. Really couldn't get a lot going on the feet. Like he was obviously still swinging, but Rongju looked. I think Rongju needed this win because he's like 1-4 in his last five or something crazy like that. He's only like 24, but still,
With
like
like
he was probably he might have
32 professional fights,
he
which
might
is insane.
yeah. Dude, I couldn't believe that. It's crazy. So, God, such a good fight. Really excited to see both where they're at. I don't really have matchup for either one of them. I'm just super excited to see where they go. I think this is a good learning experience for Steele. Sucks that this was his debut fight that he had come in on and lose on, but I also think that losses are necessary for growth. And I think that in this next fight, we're going to see Steele make some adjustments and come out even better. And Rongju, fuck, like to see where he goes. Still young as shit, but like you said, like 5 million fights when you're 24. It can't be that bad, I guess, unless you're worried about brain damage. But love that fight. Good fight. You got any takeaways from that, man?
Dude, I've been a big Cody Steele propaganda machine since his MMA debut because I would see him on a team with the B team guys like Craig Jones and that. So to see him like finding success in MMA, I was massive on him. Still am massive on him, dude. The dude's a dog. He went out there and put on a show, but dude, he got outclassed. So that was a little disappointing. Hope to see him learn a lot from it. He's definitely got time. So hopefully he does. And I think he's still got something special. He went out there and put on a striking match. The dude's a grappler. And if I recall correctly, I think he maybe shot a couple borderline panic takedowns that didn't play out very well for him. I think if he goes in there with a better strategy that doesn't focus so much on putting on the flashy knockouts and just doing what he does, he can see a lot more success. So I'm looking forward to his future. And Rongju looked really damn good in that fight. Shout out to him. Dude, I noticed his eye started to swell up again. And I was like, man, I think that's like that might be his little trigger right there. Just hit that guy in the eye and that thing's going to puff up.
Dude, so who was it? Like fucking who
Uh,
was it that like exploded his eye where it was like fucking
was it
who was it?
Padilla? Whatever his name is.
Oh, Fernando Padilla, was that the one that did it? Yeah, dude, that his eye was like I remember that. Yeah, because he like hit him once, and the next thing you know, Rongju's eyes just like
It was
and the
like a
doctor.
nasty elbow or something, if I'm recalling
Yeah,
right.
and the
Yeah.
doctor was like, nope.
Yeah. That thing
Doctor
just
was like, no, we're not fucking.
fruit fly over here.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But damn, yeah, excited for both those guys. Yeah, like you said about Cody Steele, he fell in love with his hands in that fight. I
Yeah.
think what it is, everybody saw Dan Henderson be a wrestler and then like start fighting and just nuking guys. And every wrestler that comes into the UFC or MMA now is like, I'm Dan Henderson now. I'm gonna be like I'm really good at grappling, but I'm gonna just fuck some people up with my hands. And then they realize I might not have the power that Dan Henderson. But next one up, Mikhailov versus Giuseppe. My takeaway from that, Mikhailov looked much improved from the fight that he was on the Contender Series. I think they mentioned that in the commentary. Very impressed with his progress. I don't think Giuseppe is long for the UFC world. He looked like he'd never fought a southpaw in his life. And Mikhailov, that dude tattooed that guy's side with that. Those kicks were nice. Those body kicks were beautiful. I'm a big time body work kind of guy, and you can land some nasty kicks like that. It's pretty sick. So yeah, good shit from Mikhailov. I don't really think he's UFC caliber either, but we'll see where he goes. You got any takeaways on that one, man?
Uh, Good performance by Mikhailov. I look forward to his next fight to see how he grows from that. Um, what's his name? Smollett, Juice,
You
Jesse.
say,
I think I was about to call him that dude who faked that. We're not going to go into that. Um,
ah, oh no, not
we're
that.
not going
Oh,
to go there. Juice seems to be a hard guy to take out. So, because even when Brian Battle took him out, I'm pretty sure it was like a standing TKO. Um, but he looked good. He found his avenue. He was fucking putting body art on him. I mean, that we all saw that picture, just red toes engraved on his side. It's probably I'd like to see what it looks like right now. Now
oh
that it's like kind
god,
of in that halfway
it's gonna be
healing.
like black and purple.
Yeah, it's got to be ugly. Um, yeah, I mean, shout out to him. Good performance. We'll be tuned into the next one.
Right on. And to open the card was just a masterful, beautiful piece of art that we got to see. Quillen Sal killed. He went ahead and Sal killed Jubilee. Pretty much, I know that the stoppage was controversial. Could Jubilee have maybe been given some more time? Sure. Um, do I think it would have changed anything? No. I just don't think Jubilee's very good. Even if it didn't finish right there, I don't think it would have took too much longer because we saw Jubilee fold after a man just started barking at him. Like Jubilee was doing good, and then like Breeden just fucking started barking, and Jubilee like was like, "Oh fuck," and like
What's
lost. So
his
it,
brain literally could not comprehend what was happening. He just shut off. He just shut off. He was like,
and so like
I almost did an
here
Indian voice trying to, man, I gotta watch myself tonight.
and here, dude, I saw so many fucking tweets after that fight,
Oh,
people saying shit, and I'm like, oh my god.
hear
But
him yelling. He was like, why did you redeem?
why did you not redeem the card? Don't redeem the card.
Why did you redeem?
That fucking meme's funny. That meme's funny. Uh, but yeah, no, Sourkill looked good. Really impressive for a primarily a grappler to just ice a dude like that. The fucking smoke break shit after the fact was phenomenal. That was beautiful. I love fun celebrations. It's kind of like even though I didn't like who he did it against, I did like Toporia's,
No,
not the brother, but Ilya's wine. I love cool ass celebrations like that, subtle ones. The fucking smoke break, like backflipping off the cage is cool. I think Gaethje does that, or Chandler's standing backflips. Those are cool, but I just love the subtle,
something a little chill, just a little.
just like, and he's just blowing it in there because he's a big time. I guess he smokes stoves. I didn't know that about Quillen, but
Oh, yeah.
he's a big time stogie smoker. He likes smoking some cigars. So
Imagine how crazy that celebration would go in front of a French crowd. Dude, they'd all pull out their cigs and be like, oh!
you Carlos Prates was somewhere like yeah, like that. But uh, oh yeah, shout out Carlos Prates too. Friday he was the commentator for LFA in Sao Paulo. It was a pretty decent card from what I watched. Just want to give a shout out. It was pretty funny because like a big knockdown or knockout would happen, and he'd just be like, "Oh yeah, that was good." Like that, he just was like he wouldn't get too hyped. So shout out Prates for that. But anyway, back to the card. Quillen, really excited to see what's next for him. I don't know where his ceiling is at yet. I think he's not gonna. I don't know if he'll ever crack the rankings, but he's a pretty entertaining dude. I love guys with character like that. The mustache, the hair, the smoking the cigars, cool guy. Um, like it for Anshul Jubilee. Might want to go back to the regionals, buddy. I hate saying it, but I just don't think that guy is. I mean, cool that he's like one of the first Indian fighters. Was the first Indian fighter to get a victory in the UFC or whatever. Cool, great. I don't even know if he's won the
Yeah, I
UFC
think
yet.
he was just the first Indian fighter in the UFC.
Right.
I don't think
So
he's won.
cool. Cool. That's awesome. Just I think somebody. I'm gonna say no. This isn't bad to say. It is crazy how they have the highest population in the world, but they cannot get a quality MMA fighter. Um, odd, but
They've got that one girl that's fighting. What's her
oh,
name? Bannon next,
yeah, Pooja, is it Pooja?
something like that.
Fuck, I can't think of her name. Yeah,
Uh,
She started screaming at whoever the fuck she fought
yeah,
last week.
I was about to say. I remember something being a little weird about that fight. I couldn't remember if it was like a bad. I think it was a bad decision. Was what it was. Like, so I
Yeah,
don't
she's
think
an
she won the fight.
nah, and she's kind of an odd duck anyway. Like just her fighting style. I don't know. It's. I think
Yeah,
it's Pooja Tomar. Is it Pooja Tomar? Is that her name? Is that right?
yeah, we'll go with that.
I don't know. I'm fucking. Don't fucking sue me, whoever. But anyway, yeah, Quillen. Excited to see what's next. And Shul, good luck in your future, buddy. Don't think you're long for this UFC space. Do you got any takeaways on that one, man?
Not really, dude. Quillen, did I say that right? Quillen.
Yeah, Quillen, Southend, yeah.
Quillen looked good. I mean, it was a 19-second fight, so yeah, he looked good. That was awesome. Uh, Sitting there watching that, just out of nowhere, just one shot. The way that Anshul hit the ground, I thought he was out cold. It probably was a little bit of an early stoppage, but like you said, like dude, that fight was only going in one direction. If that's how you took one hit, you folded like that. Oh, you grabbed his leg. All right, I think we knew what was going to happen 5 seconds later. Regardless,
Been fucking hammering the
then you would
guy.
have been out cold,
Yeah.
and yeah. Man. Whatever's next for Quillen, yeah, just give him somebody that probably I've never heard of. Let him do that again. I prefer that. Anshul, you gotta go home, dude. You gotta go home. I'm sorry. Uh, that's really all I got to say about that fight. There's not a whole lot. They didn't give us a whole lot to talk about other than, yeah, maybe that was an early stoppage, but yeah, well,
About it. Well, real quick, wrap this up.
little
Or
spark. You got a spark?
dude, yeah, dude, hit that spark. Hit that spark. We're gonna
That
talk
spark,
about the
brother.
hit the we're gonna talk about the spark of the card here. If this is your first time watching Stoking the Coals, spark of the card could be your interpretation. It could be what got you going for the fight. What was the big moment that really got the card going? That's kind of what we go off of. So like it could be like a really good fight would be the spark of the card, a really good performance, a really good moment. Like you could say that Quillen hitting the smoke in the pack could be your spark because that shit was cool. But my spark of the card was, and you might have the same one, was Cody Steele versus Rongju, that whole fight. Um, that woke me up. I mean, obviously Quillen's knockout got it was like the appetizer, and I feel like Rongju versus Cody Steele was the main course for me for this card. So it was the one that got me really going. I think it was after that fight. I texted you and Max and was like, we should buy this card. We should definitely get the pay per view. Obviously, in hindsight, maybe not the best judgment choice,
Yeah,
but
probably
still,
not worth.
that was the one that woke me up though. That was the one that really got me going for obvious reasons. When you got two dudes swinging at the end and yelling at each other covered in blood, that's the shit that I live for. That's why I started watching the sport. So yeah, I love it. That was my spark of the card. Damn good fight. If you didn't get the chance to watch it, if you watched any fight on this card, if you went back and watched any fight, go watch this one. It is definitely worth it. I'd say it's an early contender for fight of the year. I don't know if it's even in the lead right now because I think we've had a couple good fights, but it's up there. What about you, man?
Yeah, that was pretty much my spark was Cody Steele and Rongju putting on a brawl. Of course, it was weird because in reality, Rongju was beating the shit out of Cody
Oh
Steele.
yeah,
Love Cody Steele. Rongju was beating the shit out of him. It was Cody Steele's ability to just keep coming at him, just being like, I'm not done yet. I didn't
yeah.
hit no bell. Like just swinging wild. At some points, with the way he was swinging, I was like, dude, chill out. Like he was like
Right, calm down, bro.
off his feet, like almost did a front flip throwing a damn hook.
For
Um,
real.
yeah, that definitely was the moment. Obviously, Quillen uh, is another good candidate because, how else to start out a card than a 19-second knockout? Um, but got to give it to the two dudes that put on the fight of the night for sure. And kind of gave me a little more optimism in the card at that point. Like obviously Quillen doing what he did, I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's a great way to start this card. But when that happened, I was like, you kind of started to feel like a momentum building up.
Oh yeah.
Didn't exactly, it kind of plateaued a little bit, but
Right.
it gave us something. It gave us something. It made it not the worst card of the year. Maybe. I don't know. I got to think about that.
It's going to be at the end of the year. I think it'll probably be bottom 3 pay-per-views.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's going to be the worst one because
hey, we got that out of the way then. So like,
they're talking about. I was going to say they're talking about. Well, they're talking about going back to Canada for a pay-per-view. Anytime they go to Canada, it is never good. I like shout out our Canadians viewers, all that. Sorry, but they do not like you up there for some reason because they give you guys like some shitty pay-per-views. The one that I can think of is there was Amanda Nunes one up there that was not fucking great. I mean, 297 was not the best. I'm trying to think. Was 297 better than this card? Probably. That was the Sean Strickland and DDP one. We had to sit through fucking Pennington and Pena. That was, Pennington and Pena, right? I think.
Holy shit!
No. That was Pennington and MBS. So
that was horrible. That
was
a frustrating fight. It wasn't so much a bad fight. It was just super frustrating to watch because you could see each of the fighters making horrible, just having bad fight IQ. They were both just making horrible decisions. Like, God, I guess one of them's got to win.
And what makes it worse is that, what makes it worse is Pena won, the title after that, and she still didn't look good. Like, she arguably lost it. That division is,
yeah.
Oh my God. Anyway. Real quick, another underrated shout. Maybe like the main card, spark of the card. I want to give a shout out to Talos and Teixeira because that elbow, like after the fact, watching it, like I didn't know what happened initially. I knew he hit him with something. I was like, what the fuck? But the slow mo and like literally his nose getting caved in, I was like, this guy's got something. I'm like, I like this guy. So quick shout out on that. We already shouted out the socials earlier in the video. If you guys need to check that out, just go back to the beginning. It's all right
there. I want to add this to it. So obviously follow us on all those. You already heard them. But also give this video a like. If you haven't already, subscribe. If you're feeling real crazy, hit that notifications button. It just might make your day. I don't know. Who knows? It might just be the best decision you've ever made. I'm not going to promise that. But I also can't promise you it won't be. So just putting that out there.
And remember, if you are a Spotify listener, but you like video form better, we have the option for video form on Spotify now. So that's an option too, but we are on.
On that note, I do want to say, guys, y'all are going to start to see production grow a little bit. Quality. We're already in that process, getting a little something going on behind us. That was step one. Shout out to my mom for that awesome Christmas present. We got lights. Before you know it, we'll have better setups, cameras, mics, all that good shit. Just stay tuned. Shout out to everyone who's stuck with us this far and continues to ride with us. We really appreciate it, and we're going to reward you for that.
Oh, yeah. My office is currently being worked on. I got a lot of – I am going to switch there. I don't have any heating or cooling in that room specifically. There's no vents, so I've got to work on a situation.
Fire pants, brother.
Well, I was going to say, I'm going to get a heater in there because if I was sitting in there right now, I would be freezing my ass off. I've already got a hoodie on in my room.
Honestly, if you had a fireplace in the background of your videos, that would be with the whole fire theme. That would
dude, I could get one of those ones that they have those ones that mount on walls. I could get one. We'll see. But also, real quick shout out. It's a little early, but I want to let everybody know if you guys are going to be at UFC Kansas City, I will be there. Other members potentially could be. No, nothing secured yet, but there will be other friends of the show, I guess you could say, and other people will be there at UFC Kansas City and potentially UFC Des Moines. If you're interested in meeting up, let me know. Shoot me a message on whatever, comment here, whatever. I'll get the message. And we could maybe set something up. So appreciate you guys. That is the show. I don't think I have anything. I was just making sure I didn't have anything else to talk about. We're all good. Thank you guys for tuning in. This is Knuckles. That is Squared, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.